We are here on the Trent Acid Tribute Radio Show as False Count Radio in association with the Wrestling Soup brings you a very special tribute show. And on the line with me, I have former ECW referee Mike Kehner. Mike, I know you were close to Trent. You know, this has got to be a hard time for you. What is one thing that stuck out most about Trent to you?
Yeah, this is it's a rough time. I knew Trent since he was 14 years old, helping him, training him. I refereed his first match with Billy Real. Just his passion for the business was amazing. Even at that young age, you knew, you know, all of them, that whole group, those two and Nick Burke, you know, Johnny Cashmere, you knew they had something special. And Trent was at the head of the club in terms of his passion for the business. You know, and he'd always want his fans to know that you know, that when he went to a building and when he went to a show, and Lord knows I drove him in those early years to many a show, you know, that he would give a, you know, it's cliche to say it, but you know, he would always give everything he had, you know, no matter what, you know, bang, bumps and bruises he had taken. You know, he would always go out there and give everything he had. His passion for the business was just unrivaled. It really was.
Any big story about, like, maybe road trips with Trent, or just something that you want to share personally about your experiences with Trent?
Probably the funniest one is a match he had, I guess 2 or 3 years ago with Devin Moore, and it was funny. Part of the finish was I think it was one of those deals where Devin slipped a pair of breast knucks into Trent's pants, and I was supposed to find it as the ref and disqualify Trent and put Devin over. But Trent was never one to wear conventional, you know, tights and boots, and so his stuff was so baggy that I couldn't find the breast knucks, and it was funny. I'm digging in his pants. I'm telling him, I don't see anything. What the hell are you talking about? And couldn't find him. At one point, I even probably reached down, and the crowd thought I was grabbing his Johnson. And finally, Trent kind of shook and shimmied to kind of save me there, and to the point where they fell out. And I picked them up, and you know, we were able to do the finish the way it was supposed to be. But it was a funny moment. It really was. But yeah, Trent was always great to, you know, the ride with shows, and you know, you knew when you ref matches with Trent, and Lord knows I did 1,000 of them. That, you know, I had to have my working boots on because he was going to blow me up every time, and Lord knows he did.
Now, if you were to write a book about Trent Acid, what would the title be?
This is probably another thing that's going to sound cliche, but the wrestler. I mean, not necessarily to say in the movie, but I mean that you know, that would sum it up. I mean, that's what he was. That's what he was born to do. That's what he was meant to do. That's what he always wanted to do. You know, it as much as I knew him in terms of, you know, Trent Acid the wrestler, I had never known him, you know, to have other passions outside the business. I learned that in later years, that he was big into his music and he had other things that he liked to do. But you know, the Trent Acid I know was professional wrestler through and through. I mean, that's what he was. That's what he wanted to be. And so, yeah, if I was going to write a book about him, or a movie or TV or anything, it'd be the wrestler. I mean, you know, professional wrestling, anything of that nature, because that's what he was.
It's a very fitting title. Now, my co-host Missionary has some questions, so I'm going to let Missionary go ahead.
Yeah, hey, how's it going, Michael?
Hey there.
I had a question. Trent Acid's crowning achievement in his career, in your opinion?
Japan. He was so proud of not only having gone to Japan, but you know, he was a champion to win championships all over, but to win championships in Japan. I know he was very proud of that fact. You know, he loved going over there. I know when I had the opportunity to go over, in fact, I just spoke to a gentleman by the name of Masa, who's a huge fan in Japan, and yeah, he you know, him and I reminisced about Trent's exploits over there, and how much he loved it and loved working over there. He was, unfortunately, a situation occurred where he wasn't able to go to the Big Japan reunion show a few months ago due to certain circumstances. But
right.
I got to say that I got to say going to Japan and winning a belt and main eventing shows in Japan was probably definitely one of the crowning, if not the crowning achievement of his career, no doubt.
Here we go. How about what was Trent's biggest goal in life?
I think he achieved it. I think being a professional wrestler was his biggest goal in life. I think that's what he wanted. That's what he got. I think what he would have liked, and hopefully, as he was reaching his prime, which a lot of people don't realize, Trent Acid was a 15-year veteran of the wrestling business, and
right.
he's only 29 years old. I mean, his prime was just coming to be. I mean, as professional wrestlers, we're taught that your late 20s, early 30s, that's it. That's your money-making years when you can hit your prime, and really start to, capitalize on everything that you've learned in your career. And I'm sure, like I said, Trent felt fulfilled in terms of that he had accomplished his dream of being a professional wrestler,
right,
and traveling the world, traveling the country. I think if anything, what he would have liked maybe is to maybe achieve that financial reward that would come with hitting his prime. It would come with like a TNA or a WWE contract,
right,
to better provide for his family, his mom who stood by him through all the years of him struggling and trying to make it. And maybe that would have been, but in terms of the Trent Acid that I knew and the time that he was here, definitely having become a professional wrestler, that was his dream, and he accomplished it. He got to do what very few people have done in their lives, and that's lived his dream.
That's very good. One last question is, what's the one thing about Trent you'll miss, Michael?
The ribs. It's just his way of laughing and making everybody in the locker room laugh. That's the Trent Acid I knew. That would always had he would bust my balls about every little thing. The way I would say things. I always like to rib the new guys just the way we were ribbed when we first started out. Calling them the greenies or things of that nature, and marks, just joking around. And Trent would take that to the next level, and every time you would see it, and every time I would see it, hey, Marks, come on, just kind of to be silly, be funny, just to bust chops. Right. So that was always funny. That was one thing. Excuse me. That's one thing I always miss about Trent is his ability to get everybody to laugh and get everybody to appreciate what they have. And, we get to make money, pretending to do what we do, to pretending to beat each other up, and go out there and we get paid to go out there and make people chant our names and cheer for us. I mean, what better thing could you ask for than that? I mean, it's really, when you get to live your dream and make money at it, it's, you can't ask for anything more.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kehner.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on July 10th, 2010, Acid Fest, a tribute to Trent Acid, will be taking place at the ECW Arena. I know you're going to be a part of that. What do you feel is the biggest reason that a fan should come check this out?
Well, yeah, I'll definitely be a part of it. I wouldn't miss it for the world. If they were a fan of Trent, and even if they weren't a fan of Trent, if they were a fan of professional wrestling, they should come, because I got news for you. I've seen the list of the talent. I know that these guys are going to go out there and do what it is they do better than anybody, and that is perform. We'll be performing. Yeah, in a sense, they'll be performing for the people in the building. That goes without saying. But more importantly, they'll be performing for Trent. I think Johnny Kashmir said it best when he wrote on there that we're going to go out there and do what we do as if Trent was in the building, and as if he's in the Eagles mask watching down, and we're going to make him laugh, and we're going to make him pop, and we're going to do everything that we knew that Trent loved to do, and that's the reason they should come. Not only that, but this is a family that lost a 29-year-old son. I'm not aware of anybody's financial situation. That's not my business, but people should come out and make this time and this tragedy as easy and as less complicated as possible. Anything that can be contributed to the fund to help pay for any final costs that may occur, that have occurred, would be great, very beneficial, and everybody would be so grateful for it. And that's why they should come out, to pay tribute to this fantastic athlete, and this just incredible performer, my student, my friend, a brother of mine, and that I will never forget.
Is there one thing that you didn't get to tell Trent before he passed that you'd like to tell him? I loved him. I wish that I didn't just sit down and talk to him on the occasions that I did when he asked me what he thought he needed to do to get back in the saddle, get back in the swing of things. I wish I didn't just talk to him. I wish I pounded it in his head. I wish I stayed on him, and talked to him. I mean, but you can't go back in time. Life happens. Life is, I guess, what does they say? Life is what happens when you're busy living, or something like that. And I just, if anything, I tell him I love him, and I will miss him more than I could ever explain. I hope. I'm not a very religious man. I never have been, but I hope I get to see him work again someday. That's it. But if there's one thing I could tell him, I hope he knew how much I loved him, how much I was proud to have had just such a small, tiny part of helping him, in the beginning of his career. I mean, bumping around the 14-year-old kid, I probably thought I was the big man and the bully, but I'm glad he always considered me one of the guys that helped him. And I'm humbled by that fact, and I will miss him more than I could ever explain in words. Well, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this tribute show.
No problem. Thanks for having me.